Hello. I know it's really not good timing in the morning, but there's been a lot of clearing going on, and so I sometimes don't come on and make it, and then I regret because I forget. So wow, some amazing stuff's coming out, and it's so eye-opening. I haven't done a live, I should have actually, but so I'll include everything now. Like I explained, the human programming is starting to unwind within our DNA. Wow. And it is profound. I mean, you can see how the effects of this, it's just profound. And what is amazing, it comes down to us, to individually, because everything is about you. But because we're all holding this program, because we've all been brought up collectively, whatever, it's in our teachings, it's in our religion, we didn't understand the damage it's doing, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, I was horrified to see, and now I understand a lot of the wars, why these wars and conflicts keep perpetuating, because of the programming, because of the beliefs and things that they're holding within themselves. We hold within ours because we've been taught and told this and that. Unbelievable when these things come out. So yeah, hi. So I thought I'll do it now so I can upload it. I've been doing quite a few on Facebook, just when I feel like it. I randomly, when I feel like just chatting, I'll just go on and make videos. I've done lots of videos on Facebook. It's just random. I just, feel like going on to say something, and then who knows what's going to come out. So while I've been going through this clearing and, everyone's been quiet, I haven't been on much, and I haven't been guided. Sorry, hi. So let me tell you what's coming out. I mean, this morning was like, wow. And you never know where it's going to come from. It's amazing. It can be something arbitrary. But to that is something, and if you dig and think, why did that come up now? And then you start digging into it, and wow. So huge programs that we've been programmed with. And this is really going back into human history, you see. It goes back to the seeding of our planet. A lot of people don't understand this. I talked about it last night on Facebook. So what happened we had a few. We're not coming from one ET race. This is a problem. We didn't have one ET race on the planet. So a lot of us are carrying many different genes from different races to keep them going, because their planets were, destroyed or wiped out or whatever. And also conflict. So a lot of the souls from these conflicts and planets and things, we carnated into these bodies. But we were seeded, and we carried DNA from many different races. This is where the shit starts going way back, you see. Fighting over, well, this one's better than you kind of thing. And this is where the fighting, even in division and humanity, goes back to Atlantean times, when the Atlanteans fell in consciousness and got a bit, as we went in consciousness, then it was like, the good against the bad, and you the bad guys, but we forgot where we actually came from. You see, it's also to do with our DNA, which is we're carrying in with us, and those conflicts and those things are in our DNA. It's coming back from conflicts that happened millions of years ago. So this is why people, when they wake up, know, these ETs are good, those are bad in your astral, because you are carrying that DNA. You see, so when it wakes up, you're remembering those battles, and you're seeing, but it's millions of years ago, well, in our timeline, that people are remembering, like me. I mean, I saw so many battles in Galactica. What the fripp is going on here? Wars and shit. But also, if you tap into that, when you're seeing stuff being spread on the media, you listen to that and you think about it and you focus on it, you're going to resonate with it, and of course you're going to see it in your astral anyway, because we draw things to us, right? Lessons. But we didn't get the lessons. We were just, we carried on with the same nonsense, so we just got to fight them because those are good and those are bad. And also, everyone remember, it's all perception and perspective of what you can remember, how many lives you are, seeing, because those people haven't seen, very few people on earth have seen all their past lives. This is where I'm this and I'm that. Anyway, as we go up, and as more DNA gets high, this is where the fun's coming, right? But the problem is, thousands of years have gone by, and we've forgotten these programs and who and why and all this nonsense that started off, right? So let's start with what we remember. Let's go back to the Bible, which was written, and it was also great. The people that wrote it had great esoteric knowledge, and it was fiddled with, as you know. So it was cherry picked to what would suit them to keep control at the time. But this was also long after Yeshua left the planet. So it was fiddled with. And this fiddling has the same thing. It was based on this division and these superiority stories after the fall in consciousness. That's why we had, Genghis Khan, let's take over and annihilate, this side, because they're not us, they, them, and it's we are this, this whole division, the clans, genetically or whatever. So we had Genghis Khan, we had the Roman Empire, and this is exactly how I can't really see your comment. If I don't comment, it's because I can't see the lights reflecting, so I don't actually see the comment. So this is where a lot of this stuff comes from, but it was unbeknown to us, so it's fascinating. So it stems back from the shit that happened in Atlantis, and this is where the fear is going on with the eye out. You can go into my Facebook, will explain why there's fear with AI at the moment. Why this technology AI thing has caused such a reaction in humans. It's caused a reaction in humans because of the memory of what happened in Atlantis. Because we fell in consciousness, and with energy, you don't mess with energy. So we're playing with vortexes and dimensions. When you've got a lower consciousness and negative intent, what you put into it is what you get out. So that fear of what happened in Atlantis is ingrained in your DNA. So of course now it's kind of showing its face again, because we all have to learn as we're rising and to reflect. And this is why we get everyone's like, no, this is evil, this is bad, this is whatever, and they're going to take over. It's because of what happened in Atlantis. Because they were playing with things, and the same thing with the negative intent, spying on lower dimensions, and the energy wasn't good. So what happened? It magnified, like any vortex. The energy you put in, if you want to play with dimensions of vortexes, is what you get out. So they were tapping into vortexes, which are, some people are on the planet doing it again. Powers that be in places are playing with us again, tapping into other dimensions and vortexes, but not understanding. This is why everyone's woken up, because so we don't defeat ourselves again. So they, let's say military or whatever, are tapping into vortexes and playing with other dimensions. But if your consciousness and intent and frequency is not good, no, I haven't read any books. If they're not good, and if your energy is not good and your intent's not good, well, this is exactly what any energy you put into, say, even AI, or anything it's made by, who it's made by, it carries that energy, that frequency. That's why food is the same thing. People say, watch whose food you eat. Right, who makes your food? Because it's all energy. We have forgotten. So the energy we're putting into our food, the energy we're putting into the vortex, the energy we're putting into healing, as we know, if we want to put healing in it, it heals people. But if you're putting negative energy, you're trying to go in there to tap in and try and control another dimension or another being or another, whatever you're trying to do, right? It's manipulation, control, negative, if you've got negative intent. That energy gets put into, this is what happened with Atlantis. It magnified their negative energy on things, and it sucked that whole dimension gone. Sucked them into 3 dimensions. It sucked it out. I mean, it was really bad. You can go back and see it yourself. Some of you remember. But technology, so everyone knows it was, but they didn't know why. It was them playing with dimensions and vortexes and crystal technology. Anyway, so now this is repeating again in humanity. Now where technology is getting advanced, but our consciousness hasn't got there yet. We're not in the love, yet. So this is why people innately, they are waking up. Their instinct, your innate, your inner being, your higher self is going to say, woo, you need to pay attention here. Why? This is why we are, and this is why we've got a negative reaction to, say, AI or this transhuman thing. It's because of that. If it's done in love, and if you're in a high consciousness and the love and everything, whatever you're making, you're putting into that energy, that robot, it will be fantastic. And if it's to benefit, because that's benevolence. See, this technology came, I described it yesterday, so I don't want to go too much into that now. But this technology came from off-world, because that's where they were from. They seeded this humanity, and they taught the humans or whatever. So, the Atlanteans that started Atlantis were not humans. And they had that's why they had the thing to, preserve their bodies and whatever else. But this crystal technology with the crystal skull thing, this is what they were doing, using it and amplifying it so they could go into their consciousness, get in peer, spy on higher realms, spy on lower dimensions, and just check out, right, all these dimensions and things and communicate with them. But as they dropped in consciousness, of course, you see, now they were playing, and so much negative energy went into that vortex or that story. and it sucked. Of course, it's going to pull you down, because all it did was, it was a magnifier. That crystal they created was magnifying whatever energy and thing you hold. Because of a higher consciousness beings, it wasn't a problem. They always hold positivity, intent. Their frequency and vibration was because they didn't have any shit in their vessel. But as they dropped into the separation, and we're trying to, well, with power, control story, this is what happened. So Atlantis was its own destruction. And this is why everybody's triggered and everybody's fearful now of what's happening. Because we're at that same stage where we're starting to play, dropping into other dimensions, take weight down. There's such a reaction to CERN. There's a reaction to all these things. Okay, some people are spreading and causing. But people are aware and they're seeing it. They're seeing it going on a military basis even. People are seeing these timeline shifts and they're playing. So we know. And those with abilities know they've been playing with timelines and playing, messing around. They're doing experiments and also going through timelines and stargates. They're trying to play with these vortexes as well. And this is what's happened at Atlantis. And this is why the awakening is happening now, to make sure we don't go down the same and wipe ourselves off the planet again, you see. So this is why the awakening is happening now, and our family have come back now, because we decided to ascend and to make sure we navigate this with a higher consciousness, so we do not destroy ourselves, we do not destroy the planet. So now you will also understand your innate fear to technology and this transhuman movement. That's where it comes from. Okay, it comes from your DNA, remembering cock-ups, not only on this planet, but depending on which lives you've had on other planets, other wars, other, you know what I mean, where things didn't go well. So you're being triggered. And same with what's happening now when they wake up. People are misunderstanding this. And these are good ETs, there's a bad ETs. They've made their piece sorted out now. But you're very welcome. So you can, this is where a lot of it's coming from. We're just not understanding. So as your DNA unwinds and as you come more online, right, you're remembering these things. But it's out of context. So it doesn't help if you've got, because you're not remembering all your past lives. So you wake up, I'm resonating, or my guide is a Arcturian. Also, what you focus on is, you think about it, you create it. We are also creating everything. So this is a thing. So first of all, if you're looking for a fight, you're going to find beings, because source go, okay, well, I'm sure we'll find someone in the astral to fight with. So it depends what's within you. And this is why Atlantis destroyed itself, you see. And this is why people are a bit nervous, because if you're playing with vortexes and things like that, energy things, whatever energy you put in, and this is what happened. People don't even remember what happened. As Bashar says, it's fascinating what happened in Egypt. How come they manifested the plague and things like that? Because so much negativity and so much bad things took place in that area. So that energy, like countries, you'll see now things happening. Depending on how much negativity and where you've blocked the vortexes, because there's so much dense energy on the planet, you're going to see problems as well. It manifests physically on the planet, because the planet is like a human. It's got chakras, right? So now where these chakras are blocked, as we notice on the planet, and you're going to see maybe earthful and movements and breaks and things in other places, because you've blocked, because negative energy, too much negative energy or dense, we haven't let the energy flow through because we built on it. We've got flats, buildings, humanity living on ley lines. This is why the ancients and the ETs had these sacred sites or ley lines, and they were meant to be kept clean and clear, because these were energy vortexes for the planet. So only positive, good energy was meant to be put in it. So we wouldn't manifest any shit. But after all this, we fell into consciousness. We forgot. We decimated our sacred sites. We built on them. We got people, tourists and coming and everything going on there. And military energy, which is about control, domination, fear. Looking. So if you're looking for what is military? There, defense, right? To defend, fight against what? So you're looking for a threat. You are going to keep finding a threat, because now we know, we manifest. What you put out is what you get back. So if you continue looking for a threat, well, you continually going to get someone to fight with. All of these things. You understand now all these wars that have gone on for like generations, and you now made it's like, oh my gosh. So, programming. Let's get back to some of these. This whole programming about let's see, the chosen ones is another problem. This is where this war in the Middle East has carried on, right? Because certain ETs seeded certain races, certain places and races on the planet, right? And when things fell, some of them went into negative consciousness, other ones were angry. So those are the bad, these are the good. And as I say, it is in our genetic lineage. It's a very clever experiment. So think about this. You take a bunch of apes, which we were, so I think it's so amusing. Take a bunch of apes and you now take your DNA, not just one, we've got many different ET DNA, all of us, in our bloodstream now, in our genetics, right? So that's why we're having different memories and people are remembering different things. Because they did, because these ETs worked together. They had their configuration or whatever they were, but they had their planets were messed up, this and that, and they came on different pockets. They all had different pockets or experiments on the planet or whatever, their own little things. They seeded the planet, everything, all life here. Everything comes off planet, everything. So because they wanted to preserve things on their planet, so they came and put everything, all life onto this planet. So we forgot, or everything was connected. So everything on this planet is thanks to them. Okay, all the DNA of all the species, everything that's here comes from lots of planets. So do you, but you forgot. So in this whole thing, this is where the divide started. Because this race, maybe some thought of themselves as better or not, whatever, they started having this thing. This is why there was an issue going on with some trying to exterminate another race. You see, feeling inferior. And especially if you think someone tells you you are a chosen race, you see. And so that means everybody else is not. This is where the problem came from. Now, if you tell, this is what was so interesting today, what came out of me. This is written now when you've got a Bible that wants to, or a story that perpetuates the fact you are not, your life is no worth. So you are just worthless. Now, this was amazing what came out of me today. I was like, this cleared for me today, and I was mind-blowing. Understand, if you've programmed a thing that your life, your existence is not worthy. You are worthy of being created as being a creator, right? So this was amazing. When you have got, and this is in almost every human on the planet, and it was amazing. Once it unravels in you and you see it in yourself and you understand where you came from and in your life how it played out, you think, fuck. This is how we've managed to kill other people, and we've had wars, no joke. This is where all our wars stem from, where our lack of thinking we don't value any life. This is how we can kill. We can take a life, a planet, an animal, a dog, because if we understood everything is of divine, which is what we were originally taught, everything is source. Everything. Nothing is not source. Everything in creation is made of source energy. It's all from the one source. That's why they call it source God. The creator created all things. Even they said, remember, life, planet, even the Bible will tell you this. That's what I'm saying. It was written in metaphors. For very basic in those days, but anyway, you'll see it as you go up. You'll understand it. You'll understand the true meaning for those on this path, right? So, what is fascinating? If you see, you've got this thing, and now then, we were taught. Oh, you were dirty, you're unworthy. You've got to go down and say prayers and ask for forgiveness and hope that you might be, as though you're some creature like low life creature on the planet. But literally, this is what you are training the mind and the ego to believe. It is your existence is not like valued, you know what I mean? You're not valuable. You're not worthy of creation. So if you think you're not worthy of being created, you're not a divine, you were created by the divine, you are divine, you will see yourself as that, and as you see yourself is reflected to you. So this is how you will be treated, and this is how you will treat others. This is how you will be able to take another life, do things like that, harm anything, because if you understand I am divine, I am worthy of creation, I am created. The fact that I am created, I am worthy. Just in being alive, by just being creation, being part of creation, I am worthy. If that was the original teachings, and this is true, so if you understood I am worthy just by the fact that I exist, I am created, I am divine, I'm part of the divine source, You're not separate. No other part is better than you. Then you'll understand, well, then everything, the plant, everything is as worthy. Just by being in creation, by being created, you are worthy. You were created in that life. You have a part. You are worthy. You play everything, even if it's a bug, insect, because that worm feeds that bird feeds that. You see, everything is connected. Nothing is by accident in creation, nothing. But this is, in this teaching, where the separation, I'm going to find something more comfortable. Let me try and sit something more comfortable. Let me try. So I'm going to try and make myself a more comfortable spot here. Just hang on with me. So what I'm trying to explain to you, you didn't realize you're having this program. These programs are starting to unravel. Yeah. Everything's divine. Yeah, everything's made from source. But as I'm saying, we were taught this originally, but in this fighting and division that happened on the planet as they fell in consciousness and the destruction of there was a lot of blame and anger, and they were warring. I mean, the war started after the fall of Atlantis, and the control for this so-called technology or knowledge. You see, the control for the knowledge started. This is why they were killing each other. If you go back, you'll see all these giants. There was so much going on the planet. I'm not going to go into that now. I went into that on my Facebook page. All these wars and these giants fighting each other. And what the hell is going on here? Because there was a fight over this. And this is why also the church and all, well, as you say, if you look, they created many beings because their knowledge, they still had the knowledge to genetically, manipulate things, pass down. They made all these half human beings, men, dog. They enslaved, truly in Egypt, the remnants of Atlantis used them as slaves. They enslaved everyone. We are this. This is where the whole thing, we are above you story comes from. We are better than you see. This separation thing started. And as a species, our ETs, because these ETs, so we are better. We were seated and you were just, So this story, and then keeping the knowledge for ourselves and not for you. So they kept that knowledge as a separation. They fell into this as we fell in consciousness, kept the power and the esoteric knowledge, used the genetically manipulated and made all these slaves. And just played around. They're dog people without heads. It's amazing what they created. A lot of it's hidden. But they had, half human, half goat, humans without heads at all. Their face, their eyes were in their chest. There's a lot of drawings still. There's plenty of evidence for all this. All kinds of, slaves and giants and all. They played with it. But not, as I say, from negative intent. So, as I say, now you understand. And then, of course, the other side, a lot of sides broke out in this faction of who's better and we are more chosen nonsense started. So, as you saw, the church then annihilated, decided, okay, these are souls, they're not, whatever. As we fell, we completely lost the plot. As if we didn't understand everything's consciousness. Even a rock has consciousness. So, this was like, we'll decide who's worthy of life. So the churches, then they came along, there was a side. Genghis Khan decided who was worthy of life. And he just, this has just gone on. But it stems back to the fact of worthiness. You see? Because as some were going around telling others they were more valuable than others. They were going around the planet and treating others as though they were, slaves and we are better than you. This is what happened. So even me, and it came out today, was unbelievable. I was shown in my life where if you do not value yourself, see yourself as divine, worthy of just creation, the fact that you are here, you are worthy, you will be able to harm another. As within, so without. Not complacency. There is no evil. That's what I'm saying. It's not evil as such. These are people that are just forgotten. It's low consciousness. It's nothing to do with evil. And it's choice. It's absence of the divine. They're in a lower frequency and dimension. So your lower consciousness, I'm saying, you're not aware of these things. None of us were aware we were carrying this stuff. Who can point fingers here? As even Jesus said, who can stand up there and say, oh, well, I'm perfect. Oh, no. Oh, no. You have been, when you've seen all your lives, you will shut up quickly. Because you realize you have been the murderer, you have been the murdered, you have been this, you have been everything. So you could understand and learn compassion, love, understanding, patience, forgiveness, what it's like to suffer, what it's like to be a man, a woman. Your soul's been around from the beginning of time. You were here for the creation of the planet. So there is no good and bad. That's judgment again. There's another thing. Wow. I'm saying, if you understand where this comes from, it's self-judgment. Until you clear it in yourself, your life won't change. You're going to end up, same thing, judging others. If we, here's another thing, big thing I had. Self-judgment, self-persecution, self-blame, so you would get angry with yourself, blame yourself, ashamed yourself, all this thing. This is another program we were taught. Oh, you're bad, you're this, you're that. Of course, you're told all the time, is what I'm saying. You were told this for centuries, right? How bad you were, how this and how unworthy, and you got to do this to be worthy and ask for forgiveness, and you were born a sinner, exactly. That's where that program comes from. Very clever, for a few. So you were born a sinner, so you were told you're a sinner, you're bad, you're dirty. So this is how you saw yourself. Of course, it's justified, isn't it? You're seeing everybody the same. And how you see yourself, as we know energy, how you feel is what you attract. So, I'm unworthy. You are going to be given that validation by those around you. So you didn't see life as valuable, nor did they. This is how we could go around killing each other and go to war. And it was easy, no problem, because they're unworthy. They're the bad guys. Let's go and kill them. Right, no problem, you see. And same with judgment, self-judgment. Big time. Criticism, so you'll look and you'll criticize, you'll judge yourself, you are beating. I was the number one worst of this. Beating, self-judgment, self-blame, self-persecution, blah. If you do that, guess what? You are going to look at others and you're going to be critical of others and judge others. Everything is a mirror. Everything is a reflection. Your soul will take you out to learn a lesson, no problem. If you don't learn a lesson, you'll say, you think this body is valuable. Oh my gosh, you have so many bodies. This is a play realm, it's a manifestation anyway. So if you need to learn a lesson and you're not getting it, it means you might leave the planet to get it. You'll leave the planet, like people. You'll get cancer, you'll die, you'll do whatever. Okay, she's not getting a lesson, just make it a bit more clear. I was one of them. And when I saw it today, I was like, oh my gosh. Amazing. And what came to me, wow, I've got lots of work to do here. So what came to me was so fascinating. I'm so thankful to this person. I woke up this morning because we're doing a lot of clearing. This worthy, I told you where this whole thing about humble comes from. I described in one of my other videos I uploaded to YouTube. That was fascinating. With that, very clever for them to try and tell you, oh no, the meek will inherit the world. Meanwhile, yeah, they were running around sitting on gold thrones and gold. But we weren't in a high consciousness, so we didn't question it. We were like, yeah. So be grateful you've got that, and you're like Marie Antoinette. Let's just give them some cake and they'll be quiet. Whatever. So it was only exactly. So if you could have this, have not this, they forgot who they were. So if somebody wants more, all the greed they don't want to share, they're going to be trying. So you can't have. This is why we have this have-not inequality, the same nonsense, you see. Oh, no, you should be just grateful that you're alive. Be humble. But were any of them humble? You used to kiss their ring with massive gold rings and gold staffs, and on their altars was gold, and they sat on gold thrones. But we just, no, it was like, because you were programmed to believe you're unworthy, you're dirty. So if you think you're like no better than a lizard on the planet or a rat, this is how you will feel. As you feel, energy, it'll be, so everybody else will treat you as that. It validates it. So this is how we went around treating each other so badly. And all things. We harmed and killed all life, and we treated all life badly because we saw ourselves like this. So massive clearing when it comes your time to really let go of all self-worth, self-judgment, self-persecution, because then you're judging others. If you're going to keep judging yourself and blaming, oh, look what I did, even when these things comes up to you, the past, you see, you're going to do it to others. Because you're criticizing yourself, you're going to be critical of everything is reflected. So what was shown to me today was, as I woke up, because I don't do the dreaming thing, and I asked them, I like to sleep. Okay. Yeah, I like to sleep because I do meditation, right? So they can tell me in meditation or when I do things like that. So I don't do the dreaming story really. I've asked not to. I used to, when I was younger, but I don't seldom, put it that way. So now what they do, because they know, they wake me up in the middle of the night with downloads. And then I'm really, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, all right, that's fantastic. I go back to sleep. I never remember. So they now know. Do not give her things in her sleep. Because when I get back to sleep, I wake up in the morning, I don't remember anything. And I'm like, shit. Because I don't feel like, you sleeping. I don't feel like rolling over and getting a recorder or writing it down. There's no ways I want to get out of bed because I'm sleeping. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Right, great. But I don't then put the recorder on and record it. So I remember, I just think, yeah, right, I'm gonna tell everybody, I'll make a video. And it's really amazing. And you're so enthusiastic to tell everybody, wow, it's amazing. I wake up in the morning and nothing. I don't remember a freaking thing. So some of the stuff that's been clearing now is clearing from the collective. It's clearing history. So as now, the phase I'm in, I don't know where you are, but you'll get there if you're not there yet, is this the programming. Everything that's not valid because it's going to come out. So you've done this in a week. Now it's clearing the human programming, really. And this is, we're all carrying it. Wow. As I say, this be humble. Where does this, be humble. Just, it's a good quality. You've got to be. Yes, we're not talking about arrogance. But this, just be happy with, with your little nothing, whatever. Don't just have a job. Just work and just be happy that you have a job. Be grateful that, this is what you were programmed with. So we want to keep, you must work for us. You see, this is, it must be careful. There's a humble, in that humble thing, the training, you're not seeing the fine line. This is, this is it. So no. And this, because you also then taught, well, so of course you wouldn't question it because you're not worthy. You're a sinner, you're dirty, whatever. So it's amazing all the shit that's come up. Anyway, so this morning I wake up and there's more clearing coming. I knew it was. I was told yesterday, wow. And I could gather. And I was like, nah, something's, and I knew I had work to do because there was things holding you down. There's always stuff that's coming out. It's just part of our, as we go up, it all comes out, all of it. Huh? As we rise up, all of it will come out of us because it's not in alignment with the divine. So everything is going to come out of humans, all humans, not just. So there we are. It's fascinating. Hi. So it was so interesting. Me going, wow. So there was an ex-boyfriend I had, who I dumped, who was such a nice man. But we had things, just also upbringing. You see, it's programs, beliefs, upbringing I had in resonance. I hadn't done my healing as well. So I'd gone through this really, really tough time. So Source thought, okay, let's see if she's learned. And they brought someone across my path. But your consciousness was not high enough yet. And I had all these programs and trauma and things I hadn't cleared. So it was like, yeah, I got a break. But then you see, you weren't able to see. You weren't, the self-awareness, the being present, the self, being in the body and self-aware was not there. That higher consciousness. Because if you're in that state, you are then, you're able to see things from a higher perception and perspective. But I was just walking around like a normal person and, oh, why are they being such an asshole, whatever. You didn't realize, that's what I'm saying. It's an illusion. You were in illusion. You didn't know yourself, so you're not able to see the true others. If you cannot see the true self, this is exactly what most people are complaining about, everybody else. You are not being and seeing yourself. You are veiled. You are in illusion. Those, you will not see the truth in them. Because you are denying the truth in yourself. You're pretending, that you're perfect and if it's everyone else's, You're living an illusion. So this is why that the illusion as well, you will not see the illusion in other people. And that's why, I don't know why, why do they? But because it's you, we don't realize. So this is why, are they an arsehole and they did this and da-da-da. Anyway, so I had this very wealthy boyfriend. And what fantastic qualities, what an amazing man. And he was showing me, he was being those qualities, but I wasn't. So there was a choice of Source, give me a good choice. Look, Honor, here's someone who can teach you. This is in a mirror. This is what you should be. This is, this is where you can be. That's the upper room. Or you can, but of course I held lots of these programs, the lower room, you see. Because, wow, yeah, did I choose a family to connect into? Wow, wow. So there was an enormous amount of shit. And obviously you had this, because we've come through lifetimes of it. So I connected into a family with massive amount of shit in their DNA and lineage and trauma and ancestry. Yo. So, whoop. Yes, some of it resonated. There were issues. I'm well aware of it. But then same with the judgment thing. So we also, same thing, expect, no, it must look like that, programming. A man must be like this. A woman must be like this. A relationship, this is Hollywood. Programming. This is brainwashing. So we have been brainwashed for centuries by Hollywood, by movies and Cinderella and the knight in the shining armor is going to, and this is how a man must be, and a woman must stay at home and cook, and a man should do, see the roles. Go and look at it. You were programmed with them, factually, actually, perfectly. Very sexist. And even the 50s, going, there's videos and those things in old TV is still out there. How to be a good housewife. Literally, it was played on TV. So your parents were programmed, like brainwashed, literally. Media was made to brainwash you. How they wanted society and you to behave was put out there. Marketing, everything. So this is why people say sheep, but this is where it comes from. So your concept of how a relationship should be is clouded by the programming. A man should be like this, and supposed to support his wife, and a wife should do this, and these gender roles as well, we judgment. So there's judgment on what a role should be, and and anything is supposed to do that because you're told that. Everything that you have taken on from the external is a belief. You see, it's all external, and all of this is unraveling. So of course, here comes a man that's showing some very good aspects to me, but also in my belief system and programming, some of them are not lined up. So I'm like, no, we know, this does not go with me. It doesn't. So because you have no self, your low self-worth, you are not worthy in all these programs, and you haven't cleared them. It's not the other person. You get triggered because you feel unworthy. So it represents, no. It was fascinating, all these things. As I was sitting here contemplating on this morning and meditating on it, what was unraveling? Wow. It was absolutely mind-blowing. So the self-love, self-respect. So if you don't have that self-respect, but not in an arrogant way. See, this is what I'm saying. A lot of it, this is why this is happening. Because we are so screwed up. We have got so many programs taken on, because your mind is a computer, in the old epoch, which has all come through teaching, Bible, school, and it's all screwed up. It's not in alignment with actual creation, with the divine. Everything is equal. Everything is one. Everything is divine. Everything has a right to be. All is life is sentient. All life is no, they are good, that's better, this race is better than others, I'm, more, none of that nonsense. None of it. That if we don't have that, if we're not acting in that alignment, that with full love and respect and all these things on ourselves, we cannot, it will not be validated in our external, which means in the collective either, because I have this in me, I'm going to reflect it out, law of attraction, you're going to reflect it back to me. So I validated, and this perpetual cycle. This is why the cycle of the planet, and people say, this is where this whole story, humans don't change history, look at history. That is why. This is why. Because you carried the same programs and same consciousness, the same things, and we were on a hamster wheel, as Laura's kind of said, stuck in a cycle. So this is why it is unraveling. All of that. And it's going to go through, and it's going through humanity. As I said, this nonsense about humility. And when you go back in time and see where it comes from, like before the church even, those that wanted to control. Like look at the lanterns, when they made everyone enslaved and were living like kings and queens and in Egypt and carrying on. Never mind there, you know what I mean? It was like, wow. So this is where this whole thing is, and this royalty and us wanting to rule and over you. Well, and some are better than others. We are better breed. This whole nonsense that bloodlines or any genetics. Look what happened in this is where the same programming came up in the Germany. You understand? If that's held in the collective, that certain things, this programming, worthiness, chosen, and you know, who's better. Some are better than others, better races, better bloodlines. This bullshit is held, and it was programmed and held from fights, and it goes way back. You understand? To our ETs, and it's in our DNA. Fighting, it goes back. But actually, it's not the fact. We are all one. Yes, we do come from. We have different bloodlines. Now we're so intermixed anyway. But so but this is what I'm saying. It's a very clever plan. Let me grab my tea, sorry. Because it is quite clever. Because think about it, to keep their lineage and to see now peace in the galaxy. We are seeded from all these races, right? One was a comet, you know, Meldic, Mars, Orion, a lot of those planets, a lot of shit, and some of them were wars, catastrophes, the belt. So this is where we come from, and we were seeded here. Otherwise, we would be still. We got to overcome our ape side. You can see the chimpanzee side is still very much in us. Sorry, it's mine. It's not yours. So yes, that animal, that lower. That's why I think it's quite funny. The monkey mind and is literal. And the survival instinct, the monkey mind, the what you call the reptilian brain. This is what they said, the lowest instinct. This is why it's issue. That the lion's going to eat me. That is so ingrained in our DNA. Oops, that's going to kill us. The survival thing from being eaten, by lions and other things and dinosaurs and whatever. So this is where we've got all these. We've got to overcome the physical. It's held in the physical body, all the shit and programming and fears, which are held in the survival, in the genetics of the ape part of us. We are, anyway. And we should be very thankful to them instead of but this is us. Oh, now we're going to go over and take over the universe and defeat and fight and take our shit somewhere else like kids in a playground. There's mine. We found it first. Put our flag on the moon. It's like, oh my God, it's so funny. When you as you rise, when they do, they'll be laughing at themselves. Everybody. When you see also when you're able to see all your lives and understand the DNA that you've got in you is activated, you're able to see their ancestry. So you're not only tapping into your lives, you're tapping right back into galactic history. But it's very clever. Think about it. So if we could get through this, we've survived killing each other and carrying on. These galactic wars have played out in the humans now on the planet for thousands of years. But we've got to the point where we decided, no, we want peace now. We're going to overcome ourselves and behave like, we're going to overcome our monkey minds and our genetics. Guess what? We are rising up. A very clever plan, because there will be peace in the galaxy. Which wasn't. So all of us have the same body now. So they're very clever. So you take all these warring, all these different DNAs, and this is why they're coming back. It's not one race that's coming back, by the way, people. These people think their family or galactic family is not one race. Some won't land because our survival skills will set off and we'll panic. Because if anything arrived with the face of a lion here, which was the Illyrians, your survival instinct, the monkey mind, the human, the DNA, and you will kick in. It's like, oh my God, it's going to eat me. We will be scared of it because it looks like a dinosaur, it looks like a lion, because our instinct and the smell is survival. That's going to kill me, that's going to eat me. We were the prey, they were the predators. So because of some of their DNA, it's predatory, we would shit ourselves. So we need to get up there, rise and think. But it's very intelligent thinking about it, because you've got this whole species now. We will be an asset to the universe. So we overcome our shit, and we've chosen peace and all that. We're going up, all of us. And they will not let Earth be destroyed because it is so valuable, because they took millions of years to seed this planet, put all the life from all these different planets on here. There's many species on this planet. Many. A lot of them come from their planets. They are not going. There's very few planets in our galaxy that sustain physical life. So they had taken all this life from all their different planets and put it on here. So we are a mixing pot. we represent of many planets and galaxies are our life. The whales, the lions, and this, and same with the species out there. People, they don't all look like us. We all know that by now. Far from it. They don't all look like us. So it will be peaceful now when all these old warring tribes finally found peace in one genetic or one form. Very clever. So we can finally overcome, and this has been going on. This is why it's still going on in the Middle East. That whole story there in the Middle East is still going on, because that is galactically, that happened. They're playing out Iran wars that are still, this is genetically thing. This is a control thing. Control, they overcome it. And as I say, programming, nonsense programming that was taught, you see. So if we all understand, no, we are all equal. There is no better DNA, better lineage, better this, better that in Source's eyes. As Source. Every being, everything in creation that's created, or it wouldn't be created, is created. It is loved, it is respected by the divine. It is divine, or it would not be in existence. So we have been taught not to see ourselves as beautiful as divine. See? Fascinating though. So it's coming out of the, it's going to come out of humans, yeah. And then the true history will be given to us when everyone comes back. Together. Not fighting, they're going to come together. Okay, obviously not all of them are going to jump out and say hi, because all of us would go, oh my God, they're going to eat us. Literally. And I'll be very honest with you, I'm not ready. I'm getting ready. I'm not ready. So if a Lyrian had to manifest in my room, my monkey mind and instinct and DNA would go, oh no. I mean, it smells a bit like a lion. It looks like a lion. Especially if you spend time in Africa like me, it's like, nah, that's going to eat you. You can't trust it because it's a predator, you see. It's just that instinct. We're coming out of the lower chakras, the lower energies, the instinctive. We're getting control over the monkey mind, which is literally the monkey mind. It's so funny. That's what I'm saying, and we think we are so, this is the ape thing. I'm just going to beat it. The stronger survive, you know what I mean? I'll beat it. God. It's funny. We're going to laugh. But if you look at us, it's actually so funny. This arrogance that we are so this and that. We're going around like, we're behaving like monkeys. Because we literally are. And if it wasn't for them, we would still be, this is why we 99% share the genes with the bonobo and the chimpanzee. Because literally they are our family. They took those, mixed it with the human ET DNA, and there we are. You are human. Or you are human species. We've evolved. We've been fiddled with more than once, as you noticed. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that whole line, but it is funny. So we need to get rid of this, because I was shown this worthiness thing is a big problem. And that will end a lot of this, because you wouldn't think, if you know that I'm divine just by that I am in existence, by the fact that I'm born, or the plant is here, it's because it's needed, because it plays a role, because it's divine. And all life is valid, all consciousness is valid. And that is holding a higher consciousness. So as you go up in consciousness, so do those, you know what I mean? Anyway, but this is part of the journey, but it's fun. When it unravels, oh shit, I felt so bad. Then I understood why I did the things I did. I thought, oh my gosh. And then also you're going to be treated like shit. Because if you don't value yourself, if you don't see yourself, I am valuable, I have value. And the human program has taught you not to be valuable. Look at them. Oh no, I'll pay you the basic. I'll pay you the lowest I can pay you. Just get a job. No, don't try too hard. Just be happy that you are, you've got a job. You should be grateful you have a job. And you see, this is how bad the program is, and how bad it got, how low our consciousness was, that we are willing to pay the person the least money. It was like, so you were validated. Oh, you were so programmed to be that you're not worthy. You should just get a job and be happy. You're lucky you get a job, and this and that, and be humble, be grateful that you have, roof over your head, and this is very, it was put out there. While we are sitting, with and getting richer and richer, stuck in the, this is that whole separation and, whatever nonsense. It's going. All I can say, it's going. And thank goodness. So you've got to look at yourself and ask for them, it'll come up, to clear this unworthiness and value. That you value yourself. You are precious and you are valuable. You very much are. Because every single one of you is playing a role, whether even if it's in a negative way, to show that other person, oops, look what you're showing me. You're all being a mirror. We're all playing up, we're all a puzzle, as you know. You set these things up, you come in here, the agreements, everything. So yes, you have value. Absolutely. But we were just taught not to value ourselves. We were not precious. You are precious. And if we can see ourselves as precious, accept that, it's going to be a lot of pain, a painful healing. You're going to cry a lot. Because you realize you were not good to yourself. So loving yourself, self-respect, self-worth, self-love, value. I am valuable. I have value. And if you don't see yourself, if you have value, of course, nor will the world. So this is why you're going to get minimum wages. And this is what was going on. So people honestly thought they were just lucky and they wouldn't argue. I won't ask for more because I probably won't get the job. They'll probably chase me away because I'm not really worthy. So I'll take that. This unworthiness was so reflected. How do you think we got minimum wages in the first place? We got it in such a bad way that people would even treat half the world, look at their wages. People would be willing to do that. It was horrendous. So this is where it's amazing. So we got to work on it, and it's coming out. Don't worry. As you come up, as you work through this, as we're going through the shift in consciousness, it will be shaken out of all of you. As your frequency and vibration raises, all of this shit comes out. Ah, yes. Yeah, but it's a good cry. Nothing wrong with getting it out. Oh, have you? Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad. It's lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? It's painful when some of the stuff comes out. It's really painful. Because you know what hurts the most is when you see what you did to yourself. That's funny. You do the healing and forgiveness of other people. Yeah, you have pain. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did that. When you look back at your lower consciousness life, you're like, wow. Wow. So there is a tendency to want to judge yourself because you feel so bad. You think, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. You didn't see their value. You didn't understand it because you didn't understand. You were in a lesson. Exactly. You were veiled. You were in illusion. So you will be in illusion, and you were completely in illusion. You're not in the true self. You were not there. You were in the program thing. So everything was an illusion, and people were reflecting it to you. You didn't see the true self, so they wouldn't be true. We had a fake world, fake tits, fake boobs, fake TV, fake, everyone. There's no integrity. It's like, yes, falsity, deceit. Because this is what we were in as well, denial. Oh, amazing. It's incredible as it comes out. But it is painful when the self-worth, self-love, self-value, self-respect, self-esteem is really shown to you. Wow. And you realize to the depths that you went to, to the opposite. Wow. I mean, I got myself almost killed to that lesson, and I still didn't get it, eh? So, oh, wow. And then they would give me like, oh, look what you, and then you'd get the opposite, and then I still wouldn't see it, and it was right, no, she hasn't got it, let's go again, and I'd go around too, and people tried to remove me off the planet, people. That's how bad it was. So yeah, love. All right. And until you can absolutely value yourself, you will not value another or life. When you understand just that I am worthy to exist, I am valuable. The reason why I'm created, or I'm here, I'm in a human form, which is also, this body is part of source. It is divine. So we often hate our bodies as well. We think, oh no, it's only the spirit. The body's bad. The body's nothing to do with it. Everything is source. Everything is of the divine. Everything must be loved and respected and things. Yeah. Yeah, and it's conditional love. But that's what I'm saying. Look, we've got a long way. But as you go through it, it's amazing. As you come out, you are now, because you're going, you know where the rest of the world's going. Because you're going through it, you realize everyone's going to come. I know, because we are going ahead of people. I don't know why. A lot of us are getting ahead of the people. And so we can tell them. So I often tell people, hey, in a few months, we're going through this, we're going through rebirth. Look at everyone now, starting to go through their rebirth. And I warned people in October, we're going through a big shift, and I think we got light bodies, new bodies, rebirth. So you know what's coming. But the programming, and that's amazing. When this unravels, wow, that we're going to see huge change on the planet. So much different, because then there won't be this hate, there'll be self-love, self-respect, self-nurture. You will love and nurture yourself, care. And for like people like us, it's like the first time in the physical body you're going to be doing that. I mean, I'm almost 60, people, and it's like, oh my gosh. And to think that you've had 60 years without doing that, it's a hard concept to do, and it's a very painful one when you realize, wow, the suffering you went through to learn the lesson was immense. You know what I mean? Well, you're like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. Just like, oh, I'm tired of this now, you know. But this is what happens. We often in past lives, we would die if we didn't get the lesson. And there are some things, because your soul doesn't mind. It's not, you don't really die. Your soul doesn't feel the suffering. It's only the body, you know. The consciousness pulls out so that you don't have any real suffering anyway when you die. Believe it or not. So yeah. All right, peoples. Fascinating it is. Wow. So that was interesting. And it comes up with an ex-boyfriend. I was like, oh my gosh. I thought, why am I seeing? I thought, okay, that's interesting. Why is that clearing now? You know, his face pops up as I wake up. I see his face. I'm thinking, it's okay. I must ask for forgiveness for hurting him, because I turned his offer down. And even friends of mine said, what? Are you freaking mad? I'll take it. I was like, no, I can't do that, because I had a different, programmed also beliefs and images. Programmed things, and this is how someone should be. And my worth is based on, which has got nothing to do with what they do, actually. So what we always thought, oh, well, you see, he doesn't care about me because, you know, you've got to behave this way. You see, this is the programming, very much. And movies and Hollywood and TV are massively responsible for that. Cinderella, all the love stories, all this thing, it's framed in a certain way. And this is where our idea of also sex issues and gender roles are all, well, very much, yeah. Yeah. None of us could just be. Wow. Anyway, fascinating, especially at my age, to unravel all this. I mean, it's like, well, and especially when, as I say, well, I did actually manifest off the planet eventually. So fed up. So I did die. Anyway. Oh boy, well, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. So what's coming out of this vessel was like, oh my gosh, wow. You know, at my age, to learn these things is like, wow. Self-value, self-love, self-things, you know. And I realized I didn't. That's so frightening. Okay, a lot of things have been knocked out, the trauma. It's repetitive. It's the body and repeated behavior. Repeated lessons, it stays in. So I'm saying we are able to overcome, same with us, we are learning to overcome the monkey mind, the lower nature. This is that part of our DNA which literally is from a chimp or whatever. Take note, look around you. Sorry. We gotta laugh. So we can overcome. Same with this, like as Joe Dispenza is teaching us, it's programming. We have the power. We can do it. We're empowering ourselves. I'm determined. I'm like, bugger this. I'm not suffering anymore. 60's enough now. We're doing it. So it's overcoming it. So there's a lot of things I'm busy working on overcoming, people. I'm like, right. I listened to one of Joe Dispenza's movie videos yesterday, and something in that movie just got me. And I was like, wow. And I thought, that's it. exactly, I'm not doing this. That's it. It's time to thrive, you know. I mean, there's no more suffering, no more, nah, done enough. We are thriving now, but it's like taking that determination now and saying that's it. And we know it takes, because the body, the cells, and it's genetic, to overcome the ape in us, literally. And as Joe Dispenza says, you've got to turn up every day. I'm going to do, like I've said, affirmations, they work. So every day, like I stop smoking. Determination and will. Using the consciousness, using the, as you say, the meditation, the program, the determination, the will, the affirmations, you reprogramming the chemistry and the, which is the lower self, the body. All that nonsense held in the body. And this is where it's all coming out, because that energy is stored in the body, all that trauma. So the unwinding, I mean, wow, the releasing and the purging, whew, has been like hectic for me. 4 years of this non-stop. It's been just unwinding and unwinding. And then as you go up, and most of you, what you were just saying, yeah, you've been on 2 years. When you first wake up, if you've got a lot of trauma and past life experiences, you've had so much energy held. So when you drop back into earth, you pick up that wherever you left off. Energies, well, you're carrying it. It's, you know, and you're playing, ooh, wow. And then you've got all these fears. And as the Buddhists say, most people haven't bothered to go, and when they woke up, most of the movement never goes and studies the real theory, which they've studied for a long time, and they explain, like the Book of the Dead explains it. Then you understand, and if you listen to near-death experiences as well, your consciousness creates it, your beliefs. Not everyone has the same experience when they die. Not everyone sees the same things when they die. It depends on your belief, because you literally are creating everything. And your consciousness determines where you go and everything. So this same thing, same with the astral. So when you first wake up and you have a lot of fear, a lot of delusion, depending on where your chakras and whatever attachments, they're called attachments. If it's attachment, like say to sex, or attachment to boyfriends, let's say they've got to have married, a physical love. Love is physical. You have to have somebody, you see. And if they don't show you that, you know, whatever, you know, they got a physical affection, they don't love you, kind of nonsense, all this, whatever. This programming nonsense you were programmed with, right? So these manifest in your astrals as what you want to call energies, negative entities. But we just didn't understand them. But some of the more in-depth esoteric teachings will tell you these things look like that. It represents you as a human at whatever level. Because you're on the basic, so survival, basic chakras. So in that you look like this. Anyway, it's just interesting. So yeah, your physical representation as well in the astral of nasty things, you know, and bump into the dark, what you want to call entities. You are an entity. You were created. You're an entity actually in the astral. So yeah, it is a bumpy ride when you've got a lot of shadow, a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff, and you wake up and you go, you know, and you get shot into the astral plane because you are holding all that fear and trauma in you. Well, you're resonating with everything. That's like, boom. You know, I mean, any of you that went to that experience, it's fun. You go through the lowest of the dimensions, and all the things you see are not pleasant. You experience are like, ooh. Funny. Anyway, all right, lovely people. So there's great hope for us. We know that anyway. We've chosen this. We're going up. There's going to be peace on earth. But now you understand why there's problem over there with these are the chosen ones, and why the others, this cycle has gone on. Because if you think you are not, you see, there's something wrong with you. You're not worthy. You are not chosen. You're not divine. You're not this. Then you will behave that way. You will be able to, as you see, reflection, others will be the same. You won't value life because your life is not valuable. That's what you've been taught, you see, or told. You understand? So for you, a life is no value because your life, you've been told, has no value. So this is why taking you know, anyway, this is how we did even with animals. Everything is divine. If it's in creation, if it's here, there we are. It should be loved. Is perfect. But until you do your healing and get there, you won't see anything else as that. And same thing, you'll be treated like that then, because that's what you believe and hold in you, and that's what the world will show you. Your life means nothing because you literally think that. We know what we create, what we hold in us, frequency is resonance, is reflected to us. The same within the astrals, like Atlantis found out, If we do, and humanity hopefully won't learn. We've got people watching over us at the moment, but so they don't do anything, damaging, because they are now trying to play with these things like dimensions and timelines, but from a thing of control, fear, manipulation, things like that. And it's not a good energy to go play into those things. Anyway, but those will find out. Yeah, you might get sucked into a lower dimension. You don't want to be there, like Atlantis. It wasn't pleasant. It was like, what the fuck happened there? That was really bad. If you go back to that time where that whole dimension collapsed, it wasn't funny. So yeah, we're learning these things, energy. What we give out is what we put back, and same with on the planet. Same with the energies on the planet. And blocking these lines and energy points on the planet, so we will have earthquakes and different fractures. Energy will find the path of least resistance. So we need to keep our ley lines clean and pure, and the energy we're putting into our earth vortex is clean and pure, and of high frequency, of good intent, because that's what we draw back to us. If we're putting out negative intent into vortexes, we also might attract negative beings into these vortexes. You see, everything. What you put out is what you attract. All right, lovely people. I love you lots. I thought I'll share that with you. I haven't been on for a while. I'll be on the 8th on YouTube live to do the meditation for Gaia. Absolutely. But otherwise, I've been chatting on Facebook generally, but not any, serious ones. But there's a big one. So programming is coming out. All right, expect it. Wow, it's unbelievable when it starts unwinding. All these gender roles, all of this thing, worthiness, all of this is going to start unraveling. All right.